OpenClaw AI agents are transforming the world. You've probably seen friends and colleagues, and maybe even yourself, working on setting up these AI agents. But what you probably don't understand is what is happening in China. I have a colleague that has a client in China, and he was explaining to me what is happening in China around OpenClaw, and I was blown away. Honestly, I don't think Americans have any freaking clue what's happening with AI over in China. And that's what we're going to talk about today, what China is doing when it comes to adapting AI agent tools like OpenClaw. But I will also just say, when it comes to robotics, I had a buddy of mine who was over in China for a robotics show, and he said, the stuff that they're doing in China with robots will melt your socks off. I don't think Americans fully appreciate what's happening in the rest of the world when it comes to AI and robotics. And quite frankly, we work in a remote landscape now. I mean, a lot of people, myself included, we're working with people all over the world. So there is this kind of shift that I think a lot of Americans in particular need to have, which is, I'm not just competing against my neighbor, I'm competing against everyone across the globe. How do I stand out? What are the skills that are necessary? And how can I communicate? What are the relationships I have? These are really important conversations that we need to be considering and discussing. And in any event, I want to highlight what's happening with OpenClaw in China, because it is pretty mind-blowing. So first off, if you're not familiar with OpenClaw, what that is, if it sounds like I'm speaking lobster talk, let me clarify it. So OpenClaw is basically an open source AI agent framework that connects to basically anything that you do digitally online. It's using AI, this kind of intelligence, to control an entire computer in your house. And you could host these computers virtually, remotely, or you could buy some Mac Minis and put them in your home. This is becoming popular as well. Essentially, guys, it's an AI virtual assistant that works 24/7, 365 to solve your digital problems. I mean, I have some friends who even have phone call conversations with their OpenClaw agents. They'll get a call in the middle of the night from their OpenClaw agent saying, "Master, what would you like me to do?" And it's like, just, stop my wife from buying a bunch of stuff on Amazon. Do you feel me on that one? Does your wife buy a bunch of stuff on Amazon? Maybe I'm the only one. I don't know. Type in the comments below. In any event, the OpenClaw is pretty amazing. It took the internet by storm. It can be unpredictable, and we'll kind of talk about that in just a moment, because the reality is it is not stopping China. China is doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on OpenClaw, and I was just completely fascinated when I heard my buddy talking about this, because when OpenClaw first started, it started kind of as a grassroots open source. Everyone, like the developers, are getting involved and kind of building some cool things with these AI automations. And people were using it for everyday work, to take on projects, mesh softwares together, kind of like N8N, but obviously at a higher level. But something big happened. Something really big happened, especially in China. The local governments and Chinese tech hubs got on board and said, this is what we want to double down on. We're going to be the best when it comes to these AI agents. And they recently announced initiatives to build an entire industry around OpenClaw, and they're breaking it off into side projects and splitting it and stuff like that. We won't get to that in this video, but they're just, the incentives are there for people to adapt this technology. It's no longer like this is a fun side project. It's like, actually, the government and the tech companies are going to really incentivize me. And I want to talk about that here just for a moment, because there's governments in districts like Shenzhen, Wuxi, Hefei that are offering millions and millions of yuan in cash grants. But not only that, they're giving free cloud computing credits, startup support, and even rewards for building apps and businesses with OpenClaw. And this is obviously, it's huge to get cash up front, but even the free computing credits is a big deal, because some of these softwares, I've had some friends who have gotten very large, tens of thousands of dollar bills from OpenClaw token usage. And there's different ways you can kind of settle that, but you want your OpenClaw agent to be working all the time. And by the way, guys, this is the year, I believe, that we need to stop looking at AI as strictly a tool, but think of it as an employee. And that's kind of where the tokens come in. You start to think of like, okay, it would cost me X amount. Let's say it would cost me $2,000 a month to hire a virtual assistant, or I can use OpenClaw, which costs me $500 a month in credits. And then you can start to think about how that looks. Anyway, it doesn't just stop there with the governments. In addition to that, the tech companies are really making it easy to adapt these tools. These tech companies are hosting free public installation events with hundreds and sometimes thousands of people showing up to get in line to build their own OpenClaw systems completely free. You know, here in the United States, you want to do something like that, you gotta go to college, you gotta take out a $150,000 loan to go to a university to get your degree, your certificate that's gonna get you in the door, which by the way is completely busted and doesn't work. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I have a college fund that I'm set up for my 2 kids. I've been investing in it every month for years and years and years now. And I'm just like, is this just gonna be a waste of money? Are kids even gonna need to go to college in the future? Or just the whole university system is completely broken. I'm not gonna go into that in this video, but regardless, these Chinese tech companies are hosting these events. They're giving you free credits. They're giving you they're giving you all these incentives to build with OpenClaw. I don't know anywhere in the United States that's doing anything even remotely close to that. And the thing that got me too is these are not just business owners that are building. They're not even just employees that are trying to upgrade their skills, which is important, but these are retirees. These are kids. And you know, this kind of brings me back to something I touched on last year. You know, if you're an American going on TikTok, you're getting mind sludge, AI slop. But if you are in China going on TikTok, you're getting mathematics, science, STEM. It's kind of an interesting dynamic. In any event, they're really making it easy and fun almost to get involved with these new AI tech, programs like OpenClaw. Now, there are security concerns, guys, and the government's not unaware of this. You know, sometimes these open AI frameworks and OpenClaw frameworks can get a little wonky. They can hallucinate. They can do things that are unexpected. I mean, we even covered a situation, I'll post a link to a video here, where an OpenClaw agent ended up clearing out someone's cryptocurrency and giving it away for free because someone on X just asked for it. So I'll post a link to that video here, which is pretty remarkable. They're a little bit unpredictable, especially if you're not experienced or know what you're doing, okay? That said, it's extremely powerful. And quite frankly, I believe, and if you're subscribed to this channel, you'll know this is a stance I have. I believe that the world we're moving into is gonna require us to have skills in AI. AI literacy is gonna be mandatory. When you get hired for a job, they're gonna expect that you understand how to use the AI agents that are within that organization. For example, they might be using Claude and say, hey, we've got our Claude coworker, just go ahead and set up your Claude so that it can handle all your tasks. Or, you know, if you're a business owner, you might do the opposite. You might have a Claude account, and then when you hire people in, you're like, okay, here's your Claude marketing bot. We've already trained it with all of the .md files. Here are the prompts that you'll use, and go ahead. Or heck, you might be a solo business owner, like, I don't actually need to hire anyone because I can spend 10 minutes a week and just use my Claude Cowork bot or my OpenClaw bot to put all this together. The reality, guys, is that the problems that we've solved in the past are not gonna be the problems that we solve in the future. AI is gonna solve all those problems. Granted, AI is gonna create a lot of new problems, and those are the problems that humans, I think, need to get focused on. Not, this is what I went to school for, this is what I've been doing the last 10 years. We gotta be thinking ahead, because the world is changing. You know, AI to me is kind of like the printing press in a way. It just opens up all new potential opportunities and problems. But I get it, you know, it can feel overwhelming. There's always something new. I feel overwhelmed too at times. I'll sit down in front of my computer, I've got 50 screens open. I'm like, oh, what do I even work on here? I've got this, I got this, I got this. And you know, I don't just want to come on the channel and doom and gloom you and say, hey guys, by the way, in America, you're toast, China's gonna eat your lunch, which maybe that happens. But I also want to bring solutions. A lot of you guys have DM'd me, you've asked me, Mark, do we have a workshop? How can I learn from you? What can we do? And I hadn't really had the opportunity to put something together. I do have something cooking. A friend of mine who is really, really prolific when it comes to these AI tools agreed to help co-host a workshop. I cannot wait to extract his mind. It's a 2-day workshop. You're gonna walk out with something tangible, actionable, all guaranteed. If you're not happy, I'll give you your cash back. I'm not here to make a lot of money. I'm just here to help and build long-term with you guys. So at any rate, if you're interested in the event, you can email mark@marksavantmedia.com to get on the wait list. It is gonna be an intimate, smaller group, but if you wanna be on the wait list, email me, mark@marksavantmedia.com. In the meantime, guys, I hope you have an awesome day. If you enjoyed this video, you're gonna be, I think, interested in yesterday's video. Forbes had an article, I know Forbes, I know guys, I know Forbes is kind of like, is pretty sus, but Forbes had an article on 5 jobs that AI agents are already doing that humans used to do. And there's some truth to it, but there's also some things that I think they get wrong, and we cover that in yesterday's video. All right, boys, I'll catch you on the flip side. All right, see ya, peace.